Hey everyone, Coach Greg here. Welcome back to Living Empowered. Today's going to be all me. I don't have a guest today, but what I want to share with you is a topic that I share with a lot of my nonprofit group teachings and conversations I've had, even at the corporate level. Some of these things matter. Everybody's typically sales and mindset and that kind of stuff, which is all great because you need all that stuff to make it work. But there's some things that help you develop personally. A lot of us this is a place where a lot of us get stuck and harbor in resentment and poor feelings and things all the way through the rest of our lives. Today is about the power of forgiveness. I will say it again. It's the power of forgiveness. Forgiveness isn't a powerful thing. We're going to talk about all kinds of different things, what it is, what it isn't, how to do it, how to identify it, how to feel it when it comes up. How to kind of work through it. It's something that when you develop forgiveness, it's an amazing tool for you to grow as a person. It'll grow your relationships, if nothing else, with yourself. It could be with another person. Sometimes the relationship with someone else is gone. It's done. But still, there needs to be forgiveness granted in that situation. I'll tell you about that. Just to release you. You need to release you. Remember, this is about you living empowered. So we're going to get a little bit into that as well. So hang on. We're going to come right back. I'm going to teach you about the power of forgiveness. Hang on. Okay, everybody, welcome back. Get ready to get powerful. This is a good one today. Okay, again, if you watch the opener, we're talking about the power of forgiveness. This is something a lot of people think, oh, well, I'm not religious, I don't have an affiliation. That doesn't matter. It's part of all of the religious bases for a reason. However, we're not going to get real religious about it because forgiveness is for everyone. This is for anyone and everyone. One of the first and biggest things that I get the question for a lot of people is, hey, coach, I can't forgive that person and I'm stuck with these feelings. What do I do? Well, forgiveness a lot of times isn't about the other person. A lot of times it's about you. It's about you and releasing your feelings. I'm going to tell you some stories as we go because I've had a lot of the stuff that I've had to deal with myself. That's what helps me make an expert for these kids or anybody I'm talking to is to say, hey, I've been through this and still things come up now that I still have to check myself on, but it's an easier check at this point than it used to be before. I had another relationship a long time ago, and in that relationship, things just kept happening over and over and over. And even when it was done, I was getting fired at, attacked and things. And all that built up in me was anger and resentment and hostility. Anytime I saw this person's name pop up on an email, on a text, if my phone rang and that person's name was on it, instantly the hair stands up on the back of your neck. You probably go flush. You know what I'm talking about right here? I'll bet you do. You see that, and that is a trigger for you. It's like, boom, instantly your neck gets tight. Your heart, your blood pressure probably goes up too. Not good. These people trigger you because of the past experiences and things with them and what they've done, how you feel you're wrong or you're slighted in that situation. And in the forgiveness part of this really is identifying the feelings in this that person brings up or that situation. There's two pieces I like to look at this because whenever we're in a situation where we feel we're wrong, we always just blame. Okay, look what you did to me. I got this a lot from this particular relationship. It's like, you did this to me. Like thinking to myself, I didn't do anything. But in any situation, whether you did or didn't, whether you think you did or didn't, check yourself first. Say, what is your part in this situation? What is my part in this relationship that caused this, either this animosity or this blow up or this anger situation, whatever it happens to be that requires forgiveness? Do I have a part in this? Is there a part from me in this? Did I just like go poke the Doberman and this person reacts and now we've got a big confrontation and then the same result happens and then you walk away angry? But you walked away angry because you started it. And then you started it to get in that vicious cycle, and you stayed in it. That kind of happened a little bit, but then I started stepping further away. And one of my coaches said, you got to find some forgiveness for this person to free yourself up. Because when you are not freed and your energy is constricted with resentment and anger and other things, it blocks your own personal success. It blocks your own personal energy for goodness. It blocks you for a lot of things. And one of the worst things it does, you may or may not realize this, is physically. You have physiological responses to anger, to resentment, to these feelings. Who's had gut pain after you talk to somebody or you're around somebody that really lights you up? Who's had a stomach ache before? Oh, that was me. Stomach stuff runs in my family. And I'm going to say it this way because I'm taking responsibility for my part of this action. I'm going to say I allowed this person to light me up to the point where I always felt sick. You know what? I got stomach issues, hernia, probably ulcers, who knows what. But whenever that person's name came up, whenever I had to deal with them, anything happened with them, because it was such a trigger, always went to my gut, which wrecked my gut health. So digestion was poor. You might end up in an IBS situation. Some people go, oh, I have IBS and things like that. Well, maybe, but they always go checking food and structures and things like that. But hey, you know what? Let's check your emotional side of yourself. What's going on in your life that could be causing a physiological response to a situation, to a person, to an emotion? All of those things are going to matter for your physical person. Once I got away from that particular situation, I did feel better. It took a long time and a lot of years for a lot of reasons, but even still today, part of my morning routine, is gratitude, because we talked about gratitude before. It's massively powerful. Follow that with forgiveness. Who do you need to forgive in your world today? It could be a big deal, an old relationship. It could be the person that cut you off and made you angry. I used to drive like this too, as the Goofy cartoon, the Mr. Wheeler, Mr. Ryder, I think was his name was. He's all happy-go-lucky, gets in the car and he's like, he's an angry guy. That used to be me, angry guy in the car, until I realized that the only person in your car or around you in a situation, as long as you don't hit anybody or no accidents happen, things happen, things go on, and the only person in your car angry is you. Usually the person that cut you off's down the road, and there you are sitting there by yourself, angry. And, I can't believe this happened. I can't believe that happened. Excuse me. And was it really that happened, or was it something else that prepared you, and that was your trigger for that to happen? Now I just think, oh, God bless that stupid person. Good luck to them driving down the road. Glad you didn't hit me. Thankful they didn't hit me. I do struggle with that still, but not in such an angry place. It's like, good grief, people, come on. But from a different angle, I don't let it get to me inside. If I start feeling angry at somebody for that, I'm like, whoa, step back, because nothing really happened. Nothing happened. That's all in my head. Nothing happened. Did they hit you? No. Did they cause some other problem? No. Did they hit somebody else? No. So what happened? Nothing happened. They drove by, cut me off, made me drive slow, maybe go around, whatever. But all of that stuff is now conjured in my head from something in the past that I needed to let go of. So now I'm like, oh, slow driver, excuse me, check my mirrors, boom, and I go around. Thank you very much. And I continue on, rather than getting all upset, get on the horn, and there you are. You're the upset person because you're prepared to be upset. You're still prepared and angry from something else that needed forgiving, that you need to let go of. So it's all about learning how to let go of these things. So part of mine actually this last week was I forgive the people that were driving the other day because it was a special kind of day. I forgive them. And again, it's my perception. Am I the best driver? No. If you drive with me, usually you're holding on to something. tight because I have that special kind of driving. So I'm not the best either, which also, okay, I need to forgive myself for not being the best driver and for being impatient on the road, which brings us to the next piece. Forgiving. So there's one thing is like, let's go back to forgiving the people because we're not done there. Think of this. Now there's situations that you are in that somebody has a recurring behavior. Let's just go right and call this out. If you're in an abusive type of relationship and someone goes, oh, I'm so sorry. And you go, oh, I forgive you. And it happens again. They go, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. And they expect forgiveness over and over and over for the same behavior over and over and over. That's no longer forgiveness. That's a whole different conversation of a different kind of pattern. Forgiveness is when something happens, you have the conversation, you can distance yourself on that space. But if that's the kind of situation that you're in, you got to get out of that, because a recurring pattern of, oh, I'm sorry, I'll forgive you. I'm sorry, will you forgive me? I'm sorry, will you forgive me? Oh, it's just a repetitive pattern, and it's not a good place to be, period. It's not a good place to be. So get some good professional help on that one. Get some guidance on how to get out of there, address it how you need to. But forgiveness is not being in a situation where you allow somebody to do something to you over and over and over by waving the magic wand. The forgiveness is not a magic wand. It is not about that. Once you get out of that situation, then you start relieving yourself with, okay, you know what? I need to forgive myself, A, for being there, for whatever I have caused for myself, and then forgive the other person, not to make them feel better, but forgive them to give yourself the relief, give yourself the grace, give yourself the peace to say, I forgive you, because they're probably not going to change. I've had to forgive people that I know have not changed, but I have distanced myself from them. I don't have to deal with them. And if I do, then I can approach them differently and say, hi, how are you? How's it going? And if they start becoming themselves, I can still separate and go, okay, I'm not part of that anymore. I'm not going to let that trigger me because I've offered the forgiveness. I'm not going to let that bother me because I'm no longer there. They're going to do what they do. That's them. And I can't fix it. I can't control it. I can control how I feel. You can't control how you feel. You're going to feel something. You can sort of manage how you feel, but things are going to come up. You can manage how you react. That's the biggest thing. Manage how you react. So I can react differently to this situation by not letting that person get to me, by not having my same old feelings come up, my same old behaviors, my same old resentment, because I've forgiven the situation. I had a business partner a long time ago. Let's call it a partner. It wasn't really a partnership. It was supposed to be. That's part of the problem I had. I'm like, wait, is this the partnership, or am I going to do all the work and you're just going to kind of stand around pointing at things and not doing a lot of anything but being disruptive? But it got to where it was very contentious with this person. A lot of things came up. If I told you a story, you know what would it be? It would be my story. So I'm going to create a story that fits that thing. I'm not going to give you the details of the story, but what started to become happening was the person's behavior over and over was a point where when I would go into work, I'd be like, I wake up in the morning just kind of nauseous and anxious and already not feeling well before I even left my house. And I sat down and started weighing out. I had some friends in the school program. We were going over a management paper, and they kind of looked at me and said, why are you still there? I said, that's a great question. So we analyzed, what are the benefits of being where I was at? What are the negatives for being where I was at? And those did not weigh out evenly. There was no balance in there at all. What we collectively see, what I'm talking about here is getting some help. Talk to some friends, talk to a coach, talk to a counselor. But we kind of we're just talking through this. This is part of a class assignment. We're talking through this, and my light bulb's going on. It's like, man, you are feeling horrible. You're not feeling good. You're getting that resentment thing back again. But finally, the anxiety, the whole thing, boom, I separated there and left, and then had to go through, okay, you know what? I forgive that person for not doing what they said they were going to do, for not being the person they said they were going to be, for all the things that took place and happened along the way. But it's not a one-time thing either. This takes over and over and over, because those feelings will keep coming at you until you really start to clear them, start to believe that you're clear, start to believe that you're forgiven, start to believe and step away from those other feelings because they're not there. It's done, and it was done and over. But then that person who didn't even know how to run the business, somehow got a windfall, and somebody came in and saved the business, and then they grew the business, and now these guys have a lot of money. And then I went right back to resentment again. It's like, hey, I should have been there. That's where I was at. I was already doing all that. This person, stiffed me for a lot of things and whatever. But I let myself drag back into that because of that. It was the should have this, should have that. That could have been me, whatever else. But not realizing that was still a toxic place. The more I thought about it, I said, okay, would all of those things have made this toxic place better? No. So I got more money or whatever. Does that make toxicity in a relationship, in my day, in my feeling better? No, it really doesn't. So I had to sit down with that relationship and say, you know what? I got this from this. This is positive. I learned this from that person. That's positive. I'm at a point now where I can say, hey, this person, taught me how to do this. And I can still apply this to my life now because that's one positive thing I got from that person. So I don't dwell on all the negative things that happened anymore. I can say, hey, you know what? This person taught me how this. And then from this whole thing too, I have a full-on nonprofit for kids, teaching kids. That's amazing too. Teenagers, making a difference in people's lives. But it came from that old relationships. I said, that's an amazing thing that came from there. As horrible as that was, this was born from there. The new direction of, even empowered women came from that time, because that's when I went back to school and all that, but it came from that timing of that same area and now is born into something amazing. So what I had to do, what I was coached to do is say, hey, you take these positive things from there and focus on those. Because you focus on the negative, where's your head going to stay? Anyone? Negative, right? If that's all you do, if you're mind chattering over and over and over, that's all you tell yourself repeatedly, that's all you're going to hear. And that's where you're going to stay. That's going to keep you angry. It's going to keep you prepared to be angry at other people. Anger is a carryover thing. It's going to make you resentful all the time. You're going to walk around muttering. You're going to mutter it, or it's going to be in your head constantly. And if you happen to see that person, or they pop up, or you still got a social media feed, they still pop up on my social media feed, I just go right past it. I'm like, no, good for them. I say, God bless them, good for them. And I move right on. I don't read them. I don't see what they're doing. I don't care. I have to not care, but that's how I deal with it. I'm like, good for them. Happy for them. I'm moving on because I'm doing all these great things. Look, I'm here with you guys. Come on now. This is amazing being here. But again, one thing to another thing to another thing, the positivity is where I went with this. I learned to do this. And from that positivity, not being stuck in the negative and forgiving those people, forgiving myself and that relationship, stepping away from it, say, you know what, it's made a better thing. I forgave them. And then I found the positives that went with that. Those two things were quite powerful, finding the positives that went with it. And then I reinforced too, if my mind slips back to negative, because your mind will do that. It will take you back to negative. It happens. I got a business coach. She's like, why are you sliding backwards? You got to be over here. It just happens. It's human nature. But when it happens, you got to identify like, oh, I'm backsliding. What's the positives that keep me forward moving, right? Forward moving. So one of them was I didn't even like that business. I was there for other reasons. It sounded good. We were doing some things, but it comes right down to, do I want to be in that business? No. So no matter how successful they are, no matter anything else, I don't even want to be there, nor do I want to be with those folks. So I'm like, okay, I'm over here with the cool people that I'm with now, doing amazing things over here. So that stuff doesn't even matter anymore. So erase, let all the negativity that's trying to sneak back in go, because I got all the positivity that's here. This is the stuff that matters. And when you start focusing on that positivity, it's such a game changer. Now, as far as the forgiveness goes too, some people think forgiveness is a weakness. Oh, no, quite the contrary. It's a strength, because some people, that's the angry people generally. They won't do it. I'm not going to forgive you. You don't deserve it. It's not about deserving or not deserving. It's not about the other person deserving or not deserving. It's about you. Do you deserve it? I deserved it. I deserve the forgiveness. Why? I've been forgiven. And we're not getting the religious conversation, but I'm forgiven. Why isn't it good enough for me? I need to forgive the other people. And when I do, I mean, I feel just so lighter. I feel lighter. I feel better. And that opens me back up to the goodness and the energy of just universal energy, the people energy. When you are staying in that unforgiving, angry place, that's what you're going to attract. That's how you're going to feel. And it's heavy. It is a heavy feeling. Your mind actually makes you feel heavy with that. Like I said, there's a physiological response to it also, which is not good. It's never good. As soon as I left that other relate, both of those things, as soon as I got clear of them, I just felt better. The first day I didn't have to go back to work there. I'm like, oh, yay, what a great day I'm having. I'm going to go do something else. Now, I took a day or two off to go do something fun, but I did that. And then I'm like, okay, here's my new redirect. I'm going after this. I'm targeting this. I'm going to grow this new sector of my business. This is what we're going to do. We're going to help a lot of people. We're going to make a difference in lives again. Not only that, I'm starting to call some people. Hey, I want to come speak with your kids. I want to help make their lives better. All the positive things went that direction when I got away from the negativity, when I got out of the resentment hole, when I gave the forgiveness to them, and I gave it to me. Here's the thing. I've heard friends do this. I've had people say, Coach, I had a situation where this person is bad relationship. It was a divorce situation. And they said, I said, if you're still speaking to that person, some people can speak, some people cannot, but offer them, say, hey, without detail, without blame, say, hey, you can even start with, hey, you know what? I'm responsible for my part of this whole thing. You know what? It didn't work out, but offer the forgiveness to the person. Say, what? I'm forgiving myself, and I want to forgive you as well. Just throw it out there. Now, the trick with this is have no expectation of it coming back, have no expectation of it being received. Well, it may not be. This person said, hey, Coach, I did that. Very, very neutral, very kind, very loving atmosphere from my perspective. I offered this person up forgiveness without blame, without detail. I didn't bring up, as soon as you start bringing up details, it's over because everybody goes right back to the old angry hole. Don't go there. So no details. Just say, hey, I realize it didn't work. You know what? You can apologize if you want or not. I just don't necessarily suggest doing that. But just say, hey, you know what? I'm forgiving myself to make some good quality space. You know what? And I forgive you for your part as well, so we can move on either together or separately, whatever it is. But I just want to clear the air with that. And they said, you know what? I offered up the forgiveness, and the person totally rejected it and threw it back in my face. And I said, that's okay. I said, how did you feel? He said, well, at first I was kind of put back by it, and I was a little pissed off about it, but then stopped to think about it and say, you know what? Because remember what you said is like, it's not about them and their response, because they're still full of anger and resentment. A lot of times they are. And he said that person still was. They weren't prepared for that. They weren't in the space for that, but I was. And he said, you know what? I offered it out, and initially I didn't feel good about it, but then I took a step back, and when I left, I'm like, you know what? I do feel good. I don't mind what they said, because that's not about me anymore. What's about me is I forgave. I did the forgiving. I forgave honestly, earnestly, humbly, forgave myself and forgave them. That's where the strength comes in, because you know it's going to be something contentious. It takes a strong person to stand up and say, forgive me, I forgive you. Because it's not easy, especially if you know it's going to be a tough conversation, right? We've all had those too. And sometimes you do it, sometimes you don't. I'm not saying you got to do it every time. You need to read the situation. You need to know that other person. One person I did it with, myself I did it with, not particularly well received, but I walked out okay. Because I'm like, you know what? I took the olive branch and I offered it out. I've done it a couple times, a couple relationships along the way. I offered the olive branch. Say, hey, you know, we can try to be better. Whatever I've done to wrong you, I'm sorry. I'm forgiving myself for messing this up. Forgive where you're coming out. You're coming after me. I forgive that as well. We can smooth that out. That person said, oh, yeah, okay. Nothing happened. Nothing changed. The whole thing just dissolved, which is okay. I was okay with that. I was totally okay with that. The other one was still very contentious, because that's an angry, bitter person with other issues that just kept coming at me. I had one more that I'm not even going to go there. When I left, I left. I cut it and walked. But that's where I had to heal myself to the point where I didn't feel that. And if I saw them right now on the street, I would say, hey, I would actually challenge myself to walk up, shake hands, and smile in a very honest way. Say, hey, how are you? Nice to see you. Hope you're all doing well. And just kind of leave it at that. If something comes from that conversation, that person starts attacking you, hey, just want to stop and say hi or nice to see you and walk. You are not obligated to stay in that situation. That's the biggest thing. Like I said earlier in the whole thing, if you got a situation that is uncomfortable or repetitively aggressive towards you, get out, get some help and get out. So if you find yourself bumping into that person and it turns back into that, just go, hey, okay, be the bigger person. The bigger person always walks. And the other person's going to tell you that you're not the bigger person. That's the best part of the whole thing is the bigger person knows they're bigger. The smaller person tells you you're not. It's kind of a funny thing. It's like, oh, okay. You just confirmed I was the bigger person. You confirmed that my forgiveness for me was great. My forgiveness for you was good. And I'm going to leave it out there too. I'm going to leave it out there. I'm not taking it back. I'm going to leave it out there, but good luck to you. Good luck. I wish you well. I hope you resolve whatever you got to resolve. Good luck to you, and leave it that way. So understand that forgiving is a powerful tool, and it's a daily thing. It's not, especially the deeper and longer and harder a relationship is, the more you're going to have to work on yourself to do it, to get yourself free, to free that person up as well. And remember, this is an energy thing too. When that energy is free, man, your world just opens up for more stuff. If you're wondering why can't I get in a new relationship? Another friend said, Coach, I've been trying to get in this new relationship. I'm looking for the right person. I can't. This lady, she's like, I can't find a decent guy, and she's getting a little bittery with it. And I said, how were you with the last one? Well, he's still there's a lot of animosity still there. I said, did you offer him forgiveness for his part? She's like, no. So did you offer yourself forgiveness for being in that relationship and it not working out? She's like, no. I said, well, let's go address that. Let's talk about that for a minute. So we talked through it, and then, she's kind of backed up. And as she started to say, you know what, towards the end, she's like, yeah, we sat together. She's like, I forgive them. I forgive that person. You can put details on it if you want, if it makes you feel better. Or you say, you know what, I just forgive them. I forgive them, and I take my power back. Take your power back with forgiveness. A lot of times you're giving power out and people abuse it. And then when you take it back, you're getting more powerful. That's getting a little bit off the track, but forgiveness allows you to take that back. It's not a weakness. Remember, it's not a weakness, it's a power. I'm taking all my energy back. I'm going to go reassign it somewhere else that's better, to a person that's better, to a group that's better, to a business that's better. All of those things to better your life. Remember, this is all about making your life better. You get one shot through life. One chance. So every day that goes by that you're still holding the resentment, the next day goes, I'll do it tomorrow. Just like the fitness thing. I'll start tomorrow. You're going to start when you have a heart attack, but don't do that either. Start now. Why don't you want to live better now? But the forgiveness is the same way. Just take a minute. Start easy. Start small. Just start with a little one. Say, hey, you know what? You just in your morning, part of your morning routine. I'm grateful for these things. I forgive this person for this. And you just keep doing it till you start really feeling better about it. You can add detail to it. I've had to add detail to one of mine because it was a pretty deep thing. This other gal too, once she cleared herself of the relationship and the bad feelings, she just kind of left it hanging there because she was still stuck to it. But the forgiveness allowed her to detach from it in this situation. She detached from it. And it was like about a week or so later, she's like, Coach, this is crazy. I said, what happened? She's like, I've been working on it every day. Forgive. I feel like I've distanced myself. All of a sudden, I just met like 2 new people that are really great guys. I said, good for you. Because the energy just shifted. The universe said, okay, you're clear of that. You've forgiven. You have a different energy towards the world. The world's going to repay you back. That's how it goes. The energy out, energy back. You are now being rewarded for forgiving, for separating from that, forgiving for that, for getting stronger, and now putting that energy out. You're now open. Your energy just opened up. It was awesome. I was really happy for her. And then like another week later, she's like, yeah, I chose this guy. I hear about it all the time. Oh, this guy's da-da-da-da, but he's great. He's great for her. She's having a good time. She's enjoying the relationship. but she was stuck to the point where she was still stuck in the old one because she didn't forgive. It's the chatter was still there. She still talked about it. Here's how you kind of need to know. Here's a good tip right here. If your mind chatter in your unconscious that you're walking around, your mind is playing conversations over and over and over with that person or with that situation. It could be a job, it could be money, it could be anything. But if your mind's playing that negative situation over and over and over, it's going to keep you in a negative state. You don't want to be in the negative state of being. You want to be in a positive, loving, giving state of being. So, but your mind's holding you there. That's a key right there to say, you know what? I need to stop, figure out the situation, and give some forgiveness to it. Forgive the situation. Forgive the person. Forgive what you need to. Do it as many times as you need to till you start to feel clear, till the mind chatter stops. My mind chatter for that old business part of it every single day. Negative, well, he this and they that, and he should have this, and I can't believe they did that. And someone else is like, as soon as you're done talking about all that, it's probably going to change for you. And sure enough, it did for me too. So it's the same with my friend I was coaching for the relationship. As soon as she was done talking all the negative, she stopped, forgave. She got strong. I could see her change. I could see her attitude change. I could see her energy change. Just being around her changed, but she opened up her world to better things. So again, forgiveness is a powerful space. It is not at all a weak space. So don't think that it is. Don't let anybody else tell you that it is. But like I said, one of the key things is if you hear your mind just chattering negative, stop and address that. If you're afraid to address, you need some help addressing it, you can contact me. We can do a coaching session. I'm happy to work with you on that. You can go to a psychologist, a psychiatrist. I'm your life coach. I'm not one of those doctors. I'm just your life coach. But again, my experience, I've done this quite a few times with myself. It's a continuous thing too. It's a continuous practice. I believe in it heartily. My business coaches believe in it heartily. And it's such a powerful, powerful tool. And it's amazing is when I get to speak to these teenagers, they kind of look at me like, oh, they don't get taught this really. But we start talking about it and I start asking them like, who can you guys forgive? What's holding you back? Who's holding you back? How is something holding you back? Well, I can't do this because that person, as soon as you say that person did this, that's an indicator. You may need some right there. Remember, because somebody doesn't do something to you. They don't make you feel a certain way. You allow those things to happen. If you're allowing things to happen, that's more of a weakness. If you're choosing for things to happen, that's power. So you choose your power accordingly. If your sentence starts with, well, that person made me this, stop right there and check it. Check it. Did they make you? Did you allow it? Figure out which it is. If they truly made you, then you'll get some serious help, counseling, coaching. But if you're even if you're just allowing it to happen, learn how to disallow it. Learn how to take the power back. Learn how to forgive as part of that powerful place of being. So on that note, I hope you take something away with you today with the power. Remember, a lot of negative mind chatter, fix it. If you've got old relationships, if you're not getting where you want to be in life, see if there's an old instance of something that keeps popping in your head that was negative. You got to cut that off, focus on it, forgive it, address it, and move on, move forward. Open up your energy. It's an amazing thing. So my coaches do that with me, and it's so amazing every time I think, this isn't going to work. I still like negative sometimes, like, this isn't going to work. And dang it if it works every single time. And I call them, Coach, you're not going to believe this. I'm like, yeah, I believe it. I believe it because they're already way down the road too. But really, you know what? It's an everyday thing. Make it part of your morning routine. I am grateful for this because, is your first thing, I forgive this person or that situation, and now I feel better, stronger, more powerful. So add those to your morning routine. Let me know how that works for you. Let me know if I can help you in any way. You can reach me at the website, empoweredfitness.com. That is my cell phone on there. If you want to talk to me, I'm very, very personal with people. Let me know where you're coming from, what you heard, how we are connected. And I am always happy and here for you to help you, to support you, to empower your life. That I've determined is my purpose. So I'm here for you every single time. So on that note, we're going to close the forgiveness piece and we're going to go into the kitchen. I promised you breakfast. breakfast is coming, so stay tuned. We're going to make our own egg bites, way better than anybody else's. They're super easy. They don't take that long. They're a grab and go. You guys are going to love these. And again, there's a lot of variety to go with these. So we are going to be right back with those. Hang tight. Hey everybody, welcome back to Cooking with Coach. As promised on a previous episode or two, we're going in the kitchen to make breakfast. I get a lot of times people like, Coach, I don't know what to start breakfast with. I don't know what to have. What's good? How's a bagel and cream cheese? That has protein, right? Well, sort of. Cream cheese has a little bit to it. That's not a protein breakfast. Your bagel's got 60 to 65 grams of carbs in it. That's an awful lot in one sitting. So keep that in mind as well. So we're going to go a different direction. One of my favorites, best way to start your day is with a protein. Two reasons. One, it slows your digestive process right away. It controls your blood sugar so you don't get an immediate spike, as from like a donut, a bagel, something like that. So you don't spike and crash, an hour or two later, unless you're pounding the coffee. Also a false energy source, but I love my coffee as well. If you know me, love the coffee. But so we're going to start with a protein for that reason. Also, when you start your day with a protein, you are less likely to crave sugars throughout your day. That's what protein also does for you. Besides, ladies, I want you thinking hair, skin, and nails. So you want that beautiful all the time. The protein is in every cell of your body. You've got to keep the proteins up. That doesn't mean overeat it. You're not going to get big from protein. That's a different discussion. But so here's what we got. We got egg bites today. Okay, you see them at the local coffee place and other places. One of the coffee places that's really good. The rest of them are not usually typically good. So we're going to make our own. We're going to make grab and goes, because to have a grab and go is super easy, always sets you up for success. What I mean by grab and go is you open the fridge and go, oh my gosh, what am I having? Ooh, the egg bites are there. I'm having those. Okay, so we're going to make those today for you. Again, it doesn't take long. Prep time doesn't take long. They take 17 minutes or so to cook them. Then you just let them cool, separate them, freeze them, and now you've got them in the freezer if you want to bring them out later, if you made a couple batches. Cool part, too, is you can make them for all the tastes of the family. We've made some plain ones for you already earlier. I'm going to make some little fancier ones right now because I like stuff in mine. Stuff is either crunchy or I add some good oils to it through via olives. And a little spice once in a while, a little jalapeno spice maybe, if you're up for that. So here we go. We are going to start with, we're going to make it right now. We're going to start with, get your bowl for mixing. It's all going to go in here. Our ingredients, we're going to go with eggs. Got to have the eggs to start it, right? If you're egg yolk conscious, you're thinking about cholesterol and I shouldn't eat so many yolks, then you can use more egg whites than yolks. So back in my earlier days, I would go to 2-to-1 whites to a yolk, just to get the protein in. Now, if you're somebody that's like, oh, I don't want to waste them, then don't. But also, you get about 3 grams of protein in a white, 3 grams of protein in a yolk. The yolk provides you your vitamins and minerals. The white is solid protein. That's why you get some protein powders. I've got one actually. There's an egg white protein. It's solid protein, which is really good. So we got that. Now, there is milk in this, but we went with the lactate. You can actually mix and match your milks as well. Not a fan of regular milk because, remember, milk's kind of an allergen in your body. We don't like that. Cheese, regular cheddar. Saving the good. This is Gruyere cheese. This is the fancy cheese. Oh, it smells so good. That's going to make it super creamy, super rich. We're going to add some nutrients in ours. We're going with a bit of chopped spinach today. Now, again, my stuff's already pre-prepped and chopped for, the TV purposes, but really, you grab it out of a bag, you throw it in. You got like about a half cup of each of the cheeses, half cup of spinach. I also we're going with bacon today. Yeah, Coach, bacon's fatty. Yes, it is, but if you're going to go for bacon with a little bit of flavor, we're not eating strips of bacon. we're having pieces of flavor of bacon. Also got the no nitrate, no nitrites. So all of the strong sodium toxic things are out of the bacon. So it's much better for you. If you're going to eat it, eat the good stuff. It's like we could have a drinking conversation. If you're going to drink the good stuff, not the junk. And a little bit of, about a half teaspoon of salt and pepper for taste. We are going to start with eggs. We're going to crack them in. I'm going to tell you a bacon story right here because it's funny. I had a gal in one of my classes, one of my nonprofit classes. I was teaching 8th graders at the time. We were talking about bacon. Someone said, hey, is bacon good for you? Not good for you? It's a protein. It's a meat, right, Coach? Well, yeah, it's a meat. It's a fatty meat. It has a little bit of protein, but bacon as a flavor item, not necessarily a full meat. That's my protein item. And this poor girl sitting over to the side of the room, she's looking really kind of worried and concerned. I said, hey, you look really concerned about this bacon. The look on your face tells me something's up. What is it? And she says, I think maybe I'm having too much bacon. I said, really? I said, how much bacon are you having? My mind, I'm thinking she's going to say, every day she's having 2 or 3 strips, something like that, or a few times a week she's eating a bunch of it. She says, I'm eating like 3 pieces a month. Like everybody looked at her like, wow, if we only ate 3 pieces of bacon a month in an entire month, you're doing okay. So again, your perception matters, but also context and a little common sense. You can have some bacon. Don't eat a lot because again, it's going to clog your arteries and all those other things if you eat too much of it. So keep it in context, keep it in control. Use it as just a flavoring thing. Okay, eggs are in. Let's give them a little whisk. I went with 7 eggs. I went straight up. We're going regular eggs, full egg, full yolk in this one because that's the way we're making it today. All right, I'm going for the extra protein. Boom, that is in. I'm going to add our milk. Again, just a lactose-free milk, as I started to say. This is regular milk, but it's just lactose-free. I go the 2% because, again, I don't need the extra fat from the milk. 2% is fine. It'll do the job here. And if we're going to have the milk, we definitely want to keep it lactose or oat, almond. Best milk for you is coconut milk. Best one, hands down. Adds a really nice little flavor, too. I've become a big fan of the coconut milk. It's awesome. Okay, we've got that in there. I'm just going to throw salt and pepper in here now so they can just keep getting continuously stirred. Little tap, tap, tap. There we go around the edges. Whisk away. Put my dishes in the sink so as to not make a huge mess because that's what I like to do. Okay, that's in. We're going to put in the guy here. Ooh, this is going to be good. Can't wait for this. Good. So begin somewhere about a half cup's good. Again, you can go to flavor. If you want them cheesier, put the cheese in. Just remember, more cheese is more fat. I'm a cheese guy. I don't typically have any other dairy except the cheese because I love the cheese. This would be enough. With this many eggs, this is going to blend right in. These are going to be super delicious. You're going to like them. Your kids are going to like them. So hopefully your spouse and partner likes them. Okay, we're going for spinach. Again, about a half cup of spinach because that adds nutrients. Remember, when you're adding greens, add your dark greens. Your dark greens are the ones that are full of nutrients. The lighter the green, the less nutrients. In iceberg lettuce, say it with me, no nutritional value. That's right, no nutritional value in dark green lettuce. That is typically just a vehicle to get the bacon, the cheese, the chicken, the other stuff right in the pie hole. The good stuff. Here we go. A little bit of bacon. Let me make sure. Oh, yeah, that's good. All right, so we pre-made the bacon. Again, you can pre-make this stuff and make some extras. Just keep them in the fridge or throw them in the freezer if you want to cook these fresh as you go. Just thaw it out the day before when it's all ready to go. Throw them in the oven that next day. Okay, now, I know my kid won't eat the one with the spinach and stuff in it, but this is for me. I'm going to show you his in just a minute. So we got these just about all mixed up. Now, again, that didn't take us very long. If I was pulling from a package, it still would have taken about that long because a half a cup of cheese is about a good handful. So a handful in, I like to cook like grandma cooks, handful of this, handful of that, sprinkling of this, sprinkling of that. As long as we're not baking, you can get away with that. As long as you know your tastes and you've been doing this a while, then you can get away with that. So here we go. We're good with this. I'm going to set this aside for a second. Here's something really important for you to make this work out. Now, what I've got here, I have a silicone muffin tin. Silicone, allows these eggs to not stick. If you're using a metal tin, highly recommend you use a little foil, the little foil cups in there. Don't put them in the tin on their own. They will stick and you'll never get them out. Even if you spray them, they likely won't come out. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to line it. I don't have any spray, so what I'm going to go with is a little bit of vegetable oil around the edges, because again, I don't want them to stick here either. Even though it's the silicone and not the metal, it still will stick if we don't give it a little bit of love. So I'm giving it a little bit right here. These are going to be so good. I cannot wait. Now, as far as eating eggs during the day, I'm a breakfast guy. I'll eat eggs anytime. That's one of my go-tos. I like them. I like them with stuff in them. Again, because eggs are kind of like an amazing miracle glue. You can just put all kinds of stuff in them, and it changes your flavors. It's fun to make them. Kids can make. It's one of the things I learned to make early as a young man. I learned how to make the eggs, flipping the omelets, and my family's like, "Woo, look at that!" It's pretty fun. When you get the pan, you can flip it. It took a few times because a few of those hit the sink. Won't lie, a few of them hit the sink. So, all right, here we go. So once we've got this all set, we're just going to do a little bit of pour. I'm going to pour about a half a cup in each one of these to start. Let's see how this goes, because these are going to puff up on you. These are called, I think these are called, if you look them up, they're also called popovers or pop-ups. Depends on who's writing the recipe. Everybody adds their own flair to everything. So we're going to do the same. I'm going to go about half full. They're going to go about half full to start. Don't forget to put the stuff as you're going. I'm just noticing that the heavy stuff's hitting the bottom. So be sure that while you're pouring these, you're getting all the stuff off the bottom also. So we're going to have some that are a little bit more meaty than others. That's all right. I'm all right with that too. Okay, so I went around and made sure everybody had half at least to start. And we do. Now, as I realize, there's a little bit of good chunkiness missing here, the good kind of chunkiness missing here. So I'm going to go back, kind of refill these. This poor guy didn't get enough. Make sure everybody's pretty close to even here, for even in the cooking. This guy gets a little more love right here. Beautiful. Okay, so what we've got is basically the cheese, bacon, spinach in our cookings here. What I'm going to do is add a little bit more love to these. I'm starting to like olives. My cardiologist says eat more good fat. That comes from olives, avocados, things like that. So we're going to go and we are going to drop just a couple of olive slices in a few of these. Just a couple. I'm going to drop them in whole and just kind of see where they come out. You can mix it in, but again, if you mix them in, that's one more heavy thing that's likely going to go to the bottom. So we're going to make sure, this way we make sure everybody's got a little bit. And we're good to go. Then we're going to add one more super fancy thing in just a second. This is a good way to get in some of that good fat. Coach, it's fat. Yes, it is. Yes, there is good fat and there is bad fat. Animal fat is your bad fat. What's the stuff that sticks to your arteries? Olive oil, olives, avocados. That is heart healthy fat. There is both. I know it's a little confusing sometimes, but there is both. If you have questions because you read something on the internet somewhere that somebody said, shoot me an email, shoot me a text. Say, Coach, need a little help with this? Because you know I love talking to nutrition and the facts and things. Just trying to make sure people get a good understanding of how this stuff really works. Vitamins, nutrition, the whole deal. I love all of that. I am just putting a little bit of this. I'm evening my guys out a little bit here. Just realized that I got a little bit of inequity in here. I want everybody to have the love. Good. Actually, I really want them to do is cook evenly. Don't need to burn anyone. Well, anybody is undercooked, don't undercook your eggs. Not a good idea. Some people like the runny egg. I'm not a good fan of that. Okay, beautiful. There we go. All right, as previously noted, we're going to add a little bit of extra love in here. Now, I'm going to give Trader Joe's a pop here. The hot and sweet jalapenos from Trader Joe's. They are in a little bit of a sugar sauce, but we're not eating the sauce. I'm just going to drop a jalapeno in each one of these. So again, I'm not loading them up. I personally can't handle too much spice. I love it. It just doesn't like me. So I'm going to put a little bit of this. I'm just going to drop one in each one. You're a little one. Whoop, that. Okay. I just lied. There went 3 in that one. Don't tell whoever eats that one. That's going to be a surprise. Here we go. Now you can dice these up. You can use green chilies. You can use artichokes. You can use ham. You can use turkey. You can use chicken. whatever you like in your eggs, you can make these yourself. Now, when you go to other stores and things to buy them, of course, you're at their mercy of whatever they have there. I've seen it with kale and all kinds of other things. I'm not a fan of that personally. But so this is what's in my wheelhouse right here. So what we got is we got eggs for protein. We've got the spinach for a little bit of extra nutrients. We've got olives in here added for the olive oils, the good fats. We've got a little sweet, spicy jalapeno to be sassy in our eggs, like sassy eggs. The Gruyere cheese is going to be creamy goodness. We're ready to go. These are going to go in the oven for about 17, 18 minutes. And about 385 is your temperature. So we're going to just pretend that we're putting these in. Actually, I'm not pretending I'm putting them in. I am putting these bad boys in. I'm just going to set them aside for a second, though. And magically, as if, boom, here's a whole new plate of them. Now, here's what they look like when they come out. Get this stuff out of the way. Here is your beautiful plate of egg whites on a sunny, bright yellow page. Now, these are just straight up egg, cheese, meat. So these are the ones that, likely the kids are going to eat, but still reasonably healthy. They're reasonably healthy because we just control the ingredients we put in them. That's the biggest part of cooking versus eating out is you control what's in these ingredients. The ones from the other store, the coffee place, I think are 300 to 500 calories, depending on which ones you get for two. That's a lot. I don't know exactly all the ingredients that are in those. And to me, they're a little high on the sodium. I can just taste it. I don't know how much is in it. I haven't looked it up, honestly, but it just tastes high on the sodium. Now, I know how much sodium's in here. I only put like a half a teaspoon in that whole 7 eggs worth. That's not a lot. That's just enough for flavor. We're letting the food flavor itself. That's also why I like the jalapenos and the olives and the other things in here. That adds the zest. It adds the flavor. It adds the crunch. All of those things that tells your brain, oh, this is such savory, delicious, and goodness. And your body gets this as a protein item and says, I'm good to go. And your head gets the other piece that says, hey, I just had a mental, physical victory because I just had something healthy for breakfast. And again, kids, unless you're fasting, I got a great fasting program, but unless you're fasting, if you're actually eating breakfast, this is a great way to go. Again, you control what's in it. Your whole family can eat it. You'll enjoy it. I'm going to totally dig on eating these. So I got the other ones that are about to drop in the oven. So make your own recipe. Share with us. Let us know what you like. Post yours back up. Share with our group. Share with our community. We'll post it back up and share with everybody else. So hopefully you enjoy these. And this is a super easy way for you to make breakfast, have it ready to go, and help your body be empowered. So until next time, thanks for cooking with Coach in the kitchen on Living Empowered. So see you next time.